So funny story about Israel Hall. Let me tell you a funny story. So when I first moved to Houston, I live in Houston, Texas. Um, there was a church. This was in 2005, and there was a church that was trying to hire me. And when they sent me some music that they do, they sent me a CD of Israel Houghton's music. It was his, uh, I think, Live from Another Level album. That was his first album, right? The one with Lord You Are Good on there. The one with like the yellow and blue cover and all of that. They sent me that CD. I never forget. I put that CD in my CD player in my car. I was like, let me listen to this music and see what they kind of stuff they do. I turned to the song, turned that music on. I was like, what in the hell is this trash? Why would y'all be doing this music? Keep in mind, I came from, from a state. I'm Louisiana's my home state, and I came from there where everything was just straight gospel. It was 100% gospel. Wasn't nobody doing anything CCM related. CCM wasn't even a term. Contemporary Christian, it wasn't even a term in gospel music at the time or music at the time. I mean, it was, but just the people there, we wouldn't do stuff like that. So I heard this for the first time. I was like, what is this trash? Straight up trash. Oddly enough, I came to love his music like years after that, after I moved here and I did his music and stuff more. I began to love his music. But so he was the person that was responsible for this. So now you have what really is the result of what's happening today. You had this blend of gospel music and CCM music where the worship style and church services became more personal. It was less about the corporate style songs and the corporate worship and the sing-alongs and all of that kind of stuff, where it was a more personal, where they start turning the lights off in church and, the smoke and the screens and all of that kind of stuff. And you just by yourself and you're supposed to worship and it became more about that, right? So that shift started to happen. And that was happening with that blend of CCM music, because CCM music could do that. It was just you holding a couple of chords out and, you holding on the floor with a pad behind it and some bills here and there. It's like, oh, everybody's worshiping stuff, right? So everybody got into that. Gospel music was out. The choirs were gone. There were no more choirs. Everybody wanted a praise team. It was praise team, praise team, praise team. Group of singers, 5, 6, 7, 10 people on stage. Everybody got individual mics. We all gonna sing a song. Everybody's doing their own thing. You can wear what you want to wear, kind of stuff. Come as you are. We're gonna dance and sing. We're gonna do all this stuff. That's what the church music became. And so the death of gospel music. No more was the hype choir. No more was the R&B singers. No more was the Richard Smallwood classical style stuff. It was gone. You had artists between that time. You had people like Ty Tribbett come out that was doing straight commercialized music, in my opinion. It was good, great music even, but it was commercialized. So the thing that really put the nail in the coffin of this is that with the commercialization of the music, it started becoming more and more produced. So suddenly you had church music or gospel / CCM music that you had to have professional singers, an orchestra, a horn section, percussion, drums, 3 keyboards, and a screen in church to pull off. You had to have all of that stuff, because if you don't have any of that stuff is gone out of the music, the song isn't the same anymore. Imagine an average church choir, average black church or something like that on Sunday morning trying to sing a Ty Tribbett song. Most of the people, and this is the biggest thing, a lot of people don't understand this, but the majority of the churches are those typical kind of churches. I know many of us play for and go to these churches that are larger and all of this kind of stuff. Those are not the typical churches. The average typical church, particularly black church, has maybe 3 musicians at best, maybe 3, 4. Somebody on organ, somebody on piano or keys and drums, and maybe a bass player. Maybe that's on a good day. More, I would say the majority of those even only have like 2 or 3 players. They got a pianist, an organist, and a drummer. That's it. So imagine those, and then they got singers. The churches now, they're most of the people in the church are, what do you call that? They're older, 40, 50 older, right? So imagine them trying to do a Ty Tribbett song. death of gospel music. So we've come from the 60s through the 70s, through the 80s, through the 90s, the commercialization of music. We've come through all of that. And then we get to the CCM era. Now everybody's tired of CCM. Everybody wants to get back to the gospel music and church music. Everybody's complaining about, CCM is too simple, and it's basic, and it's this, and everybody got complaints and stuff about it. But a lot of those people are the one that killed the gospel music industry in the first place. It's funny how that works. I remember literally just 10, 15 years ago where everybody was saying the opposite. Oh, it's CCM. Oh, we need to do more contemporary Christian. Oh, we literally just 15 years ago. That's crazy. Now it's shifting back because people are tired of it. So the question becomes, what is gospel music? Where does the gospel music industry go from here? Can it get back to a semblance of anything that we've had before, where gospel music is meaningful and all of that, where people aren't just writing gospel music to commercialize it to make money off of it? And truth be told, there were a lot of gospel artists and that did it that way. There was even a time where John P. Key tried to do this like a solo album, although he wasn't necessarily trying to commercialize then. I think you can make an argument that maybe he was a little bit, but he even tried to do a solo album and it was trash. It failed. I can't say it was trash. It was a decent attempt, but it just failed. It was outside of his style. So again, you can't make the traditional gospel artists, John P. Key, Hezekiah, Ricky Dale, and all of them, try to come back and do something new. One of the things I didn't mention was the advent of like the mass choirs. So you had Mississippi Mass Choir, Chicago Mass, LA Mass, all of them fell off. The death of the gospel music industry. So I don't know. Let me know what you think. Do you think is this something that we can get back to? Is it something that's we might as well just give up and we might as well just kind of go with the way things are and just kind of let it be? Or is it something that we can get back to? Is it something that we can sort of have a bridge between what we had and what we have now? Not necessarily getting rid of either one of them, but just a satisfactory blend where you have some what I call proper Sunday morning music, where average churches and average church choirs and musicians can do those songs and not be put in a position to need an entire production staff with Ableton Live and screens and mirrors and smoke and lights and professional singers and all of that kind of stuff to pull it off. Can we have a bridge between that and some music that is more sophisticated, something that is that has some production value to it, that it's some studio produced stuff where you have some really technically trained musicians who want to put their feel on stuff, where you have a good blend between those things? Jump down in the comments and let me know, and I'll see you in the next video.